Welcome to another episode of Chat and Chew. My name is Gigi Naval, and today's episode is called Unbreakable. And the rest of it goes like this: osteoporosis and the path to bone health. This is such an important topic to not just address later on in life, but now. So I can't wait to talk about it with my amazing nutrition and dietetic graduate students. Let's get to know them first. To my very far right, we have Mariana Tadros. Mariana, where were you born?
I was born in Jordan. I came when I was 15 to the United States, and I'm in Loma Linda right now studying nutrition.
Yes, wonderful. Why do you want to become a registered dietitian?
I had a long journey. I finished my bachelor's degree in biology, actually. So this is my second career. I enjoyed biology, and I worked for a few years.
Yeah.
I got married, and I had my kids. I stayed home with them, and I wanted to provide for them the best that I can do. I wanted to make sure they are healthy because of the pandemic of being obesity for kids. So I started looking into what I need to do for my kids. And the more I looked into it, the more I got interested in nutrition. And after they went back to school, I went back and here I am.
I love it. I love how your children are your inspiration.
Yes.
Beautiful, thank you. All right, next we have Allison Walt. Allison, where do you come from?
I grew up locally here in Redlands, born and raised. So I went through the whole unified school district here and lived in the same house. And it was really interesting growing up in the same area and getting to know everyone for this long.
That is an honor and a privilege to have.
It really is.
You know?
I see that as a big privilege now.
Yeah, great. Okay, other than Loma Linda being down the road, why did you choose Loma Linda University when you could choose so many other programs?
That's a great question. I actually went to Loma Linda as a patient, as a kid. They were remarkable. I had quite some extensive braces done and headgear, all this stuff that I remember being a kid seeing all these amazing people walking around, and they had their scrubs on. They just looked so professional. And I think at that moment I had kind of hopes of coming here. I just didn't think I would actually make it.
Wow, incredible. Well, it was God's will for you to be here.
Yes. And it definitely aligns with what I was hoping for out of my degree and moving forward. And moving into or going to Loma Linda and knowing that I want to stay within the community, I think that they're helping me learn how to better serve this community.
Beautiful. Well said. Thank you. All right, next we have Brianna Vanyo. Where were you born, Brie?
In just San Diego, very close.
Beautiful San Diego. Once you have RD by your name, what is your hope for your first job? How could that look like? Or what could that look like for you?
The great thing with studying nutrition is there's so many different things you could do with it. I think personally, I would like to start in a clinical setting. My dream right now is to get to work in a children's hospital, and luckily I get to have that experience in my internship coming up, so I'm really excited for that. But down the road, who knows, I might like it so much that I stay there, or I might want to work in a private setting. There's just an unlimited things I could do with nutrition, so I'm excited to see where it takes me and how my internship goes.
Beautiful. Yes, with nutrition, as you said, unlimited roles that we could serve in. I appreciate you pointing that out. Thank you. And last but not least, the only male of this group and of the class is Anthony Morales. Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Dr. Naval.
Where were you born?
I was born in Riverside, California, so kind of locally too.
Okay.
And I was born and raised in Riverside, and just grew up in that area, more towards the Rubidoux area, which recently has been incorporated as Hoopa Valley, but we still consider it Riverside.
Nice. Okay. All right. So what is your long-term dream job? Like ultimately you're going to have these other first jobs, but what is your dream job when all is said and done?
Okay, my dream job. You know, I've actually been thinking about this for a while, and my dream job is to open up a corporate wellness business, one that focuses on these larger companies, companies such as warehousing, manufacturing, companies with thousands of employees, and employees that are also head of households. So my dream is to go into these companies and hopefully be able to share some nutrition education and information, and hopefully that they can make a change within their lives and bring it to their families, and hopefully even create generational change just by doing that.
I can't wait for you to be doing that.
Thank you, thank you. I'm excited.
Yes, yes. All right, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone, let's get right to the topic of osteoporosis. But we need to start off first with, what is osteoporosis? And let me see, and how does it affect bone health over time?
So osteoporosis is a condition where our bones become weak and brittle, which makes them more likely to break over time. This happens when our body loses too much bone mass and don't make enough new bone. So our body is usually, the bones is broken down and rebuilt constantly. With osteoporosis, when we have osteoporosis, this balance shifts and we lose too much of bone density and strength. Over time, when we have osteoporosis, it makes our bones more likely, or it can lead to fractures, especially in the hip or the wrist and the spine. These type of injuries are really painful, and it could make somebody lose their mobility. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that they have osteoporosis until they break something, which makes it, in a way, the silent disease because we don't know, or we don't get diagnosed early enough to know. But we're here to raise awareness about it.
Yes, indeed. And I'm glad this group is increasing awareness about it, because the other silent disease that we typically hear about is high blood pressure. But this is also a silent disease. So yeah, thank you for the explanation. So my second question to the group is, what nutrients are essential for bone health, and how do they contribute to preventing osteoporosis?
Amazing. So the main nutrients that we want to look at are calcium, protein, and vitamin D. That in order to absorb calcium, we need vitamin D, so that's very important. And protein helps with collagen synthesis as well. But our bones are made of mostly calcium, so that's why it's so crucial to have such a high volume of calcium in your diet.
So very, very true. And a lot of the clients that I work with, they don't realize that. And I always have to point it out to them. So you're absolutely right. Okay, so then my next question is, why is nutrition important in the prevention and management of osteoporosis?
Perfect. So to build off of what I was talking about with calcium, protein, and
Yes.
vitamin D,
Okay.
that our bodies are so miraculously designed that when we are not getting the nutrients we need from our diet, then our body will pull from what it has. It's just going to rob your bones of the calcium.
That's right.
That if you aren't getting enough calcium in the diet, the calcium from your bones will go into your blood serum and provide that for you. And over time, like Mariana was saying, that leads to brittle bones and fractures, and yeah, very difficult.
That's scary.
Right.
And we don't want that.
We don't want
for
that.
anybody. For anyone. All right. So then why does protein, because a lot of people don't think about protein and bone health, so why does protein intake impact bone health?
So protein is essentially the building block of our bones. It provides amino acids that are needed for our bone growth and repair. And protein also helps us to absorb calcium, which my friend Allison mentioned is so important for achieving those strong bones, and is just a really crucial mineral to be including, and we'll be talking about some calcium sources. So it helps us to absorb that calcium, and studies show that people who get enough protein in their diet actually have improved bone mineral density and reduce the risk of fractures. So that's why it's really important to be getting that protein in, and it also influences things like hormones that are pivotal for bone strength and development. So it's really important, and like you said, like a lot of people don't think about protein for their bones. They usually think for muscles,
Right.
but it's just so important to be supporting that bone strength and overall bone health.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so we all have to remember that protein is not just for muscles, but bone health too, and hormone health. I mean, we can go down the list, but yeah, thank you. Okay, my next question is, what are some dietary sources of essential nutrients that support bone health?
So that's a great question, and I'll talk about different calcium, vitamin D, and protein sources. So starting with calcium, great sources are going to come from dairy products like milk, cheese, and yogurt. There's also non-dairy products like fortified plant-based milks and other fortified products, and even green leafy vegetables like spinach and kale. For vitamin D, our best source is going to be sunlight, but there's also some really great dietary sources like fatty fish and eggs, and again, fortified products with fortified vitamin D. For protein, great sources are going to be lean proteins like lean meats and poultry, fish, eggs, even dairy products again. But then there's also plenty of plant-based protein sources like beans and tofu, quinoa, which we'll be showing as well as a complete protein, tofu and different soy products. So making sure that we include some of these foods in our diet and supporting that overall bone strength that we were talking about before can really help us to achieve that bone strength and development and repair, and also reduce the risk of fractures.
That is wonderful. It's so nice that you gave us both animal protein choices and sources for calcium, as well as the plant-based sources. So I really appreciated that so much. So my next question is, how do dietary and lifestyle factors contribute to an increased risk of osteoporosis?
Yeah, so dietary and lifestyle factors can actually significantly influence risk of osteoporosis. And going into the dietary factors, I'll just mention a couple interactions that seem to happen. So we've already spoken about protein and how protein is very important for building strength and for building muscle, or for building bones also. But we also do gotta remember that too much protein in excess can actually increase excretion of calcium into the urine.
Correct.
And this is actually also true for sodium. So excess of sodium can also increase excretion of calcium in the urine. So those two we definitely got to watch out for, but also high caffeine. So high caffeine intake has shown to interfere with absorption of calcium. So those are a few things that we should definitely keep in mind. And going into some lifestyle factors, sedentary lifestyle, not moving very much. So movement really helps build strength of bones, and lack of movement can actually decrease bone density. Smoking has been shown to decrease bone density, and also excessive alcohol consumption has been shown to interfere with calcium absorption.
Yeah.
So those are definitely ones we got to watch out for.
So important to keep all of these in mind. All right, thank you so much for answering these questions so thoroughly, everyone. Feel free to go over to the table. We can't wait to see the recipes that you have in store for us. All right, take it away.
Perfect. So we wanted to start off with a beautiful loaded yogurt bowl. This is something that I have quite frequently.
I do too. It's one of my favorites.
So do I.
So we wanted to start with a Greek yogurt. Why we chose Greek is there's generally a higher protein content, and when you're shopping for a Greek yogurt, look for something that does not have added sugar. That's something I definitely look for when I'm shopping. And I do no fat for the Greek yogurt because of all of these beautiful additions that we have. There's great fat in those.
Another thing with Greek yogurt, and I was just looking at the nutrition label, this has in one serving 320 milligrams of calcium. So it's an excellent calcium source as well.
And as
Good
far as the
serving.
added sugars go, you can get plain yogurt, and then when you add the fruits in it, it increases the flavor.
Should I chop it?
Yeah, it's drop some.
I think for today we have some honey that we're going to drizzle on the top for people who really like the extra honey.
It'll create a little more sweetness into it.
On top.
So right now we're adding the fruit on top of it, and the fruits themselves are very high in other vitamins. Strawberries are actually a good source of vitamin C. Blueberries, they have a lot of antioxidants because of their polyphenols, so that's something to keep in mind. The idea is you really want to add as much color to your meals as possible. So every meal that you make, the more color you add into it means the more vitamins, minerals, more nutrients you're getting in your meal. So it's definitely something to consider.
So right now I'm adding some pepitas.
And I'm chopping up some walnuts to add on top, which are also a great source of calcium and do have protein as well. And it just is such a satisfying little crunch in there.
Right. And then we have chia seeds. Chia seeds are a great source of calcium and fiber. So it's nice and rounded on top.
Did you want to add some?
Poppy seeds.
Poppy seeds.
They're actually really high in calcium too.
I was so cool.
We were all really surprised about that
We're
one.
all surprised by that.
It's actually the seed that's highest in calcium.
Right.
And then just to top it off for some sweetness, just a drizzle of honey.
The best.
And, oh, this is kind of hard. It does have, like, it's a great natural sweetener and just a really excellent addition to a yogurt bowl. So that is our little yogurt bowl. We'll go ahead and hold it up like this.
This looks beautiful.
Delicious.
With all of these colors.
Right? They say to eat the rainbow, and we definitely accomplished that.
Definitely. So next, we're going to be going on to our broccoli chickpea salad. So the broccoli chickpea salad, it consists of many different items. The first one being kale. Kale is very high in calcium. It's where we're going to get a lot of our calcium from. But also, we're going to get a lot of calcium from our broccoli. So we want, when we're building a meal, you always want to try to build it as complete as possible. So what we're going to do here is we're going to first add our chickpeas into our salad, and the chickpeas are going to be our protein source. So we're just going to pour them in like this, and now we have a good source of protein right here with the chickpeas. We're going to then throw in our other vegetables, our broccoli, to increase the calcium content. Then we're going to focus on our carrots. So our carrots, like we had spoken about earlier with the color, it's going to add color in here, but we also are getting the benefits from the color and the polyphenols to potentially convert it into vitamin A. So next we have our nuts. So right here we have almonds, we also have cashews. So our recipe is calling for almonds. I wanted to have them both here so you guys can see them. So the almonds are actually going to increase the protein content. It's going to increase the calcium content. It's going to increase the magnesium content. And it's going to increase the healthy fat content.
It's like nature's croutons.
Exactly. It does so much, so much. And then finally, we're going to add a little bit of garlic on there, some minced garlic to add a little bit of flavor to it. And it wouldn't be a salad without a dressing. So Mariana's going to help us with our dressing.
Our star dressing is our tahini sauce. So we were also very surprised. Tahini sauce or sesame seeds are really high in calcium. So we're going to start by adding some of our tahini right here.
I really started cooking with it more since we talked about that.
Yeah. It tastes really
She made a
good.
hummus recently. So good, but she used tahini for
Yeah.
the hummus, and
Wow.
Excellent.
Preparing, right? Yeah. Got to prepare young.
I got here some lemon. I added it. We have olive oil.
Ooh, delicious.
I always add extra olive oil. It's one of my favorites.
Same here. I've learned from the best now.
I influence you.
I actually use her dressings at my house also though, too.
Yeah.
We have some salt, a little bit of pepper, and then we mix it all together, as you can see. The tahini sauce, it takes a little bit of time to mix with olive oil, so just be patient and just mix as much as you can.
Creating the emulsion.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go. And then we'll add it all on top.
Wow. It looks so bright.
Really
and
good.
Delicious looking.
One of my favorites. And to top it off, we have sesame seeds.
Yay. A little extra crunch and color. Ooh.
Look at that. For the nuts, we didn't crush them because we like the extra crunch, but you can cut them ahead of time if you would like. So this is our bowl.
So beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
It looks so delicious.
I know what I'm eating for lunch.
I know.
This looks really good. And again, we have a lot of colors in here. We have our nuts with the healthy fats. So
Right.
just have fun with your plates. Just make sure you mixed
Yeah,
And
the
it's-
extra ones.
So well balanced too between the protein and the healthy fat and the carbs. I love that.
Yeah,
Right.
just a few ingredients and you can make something like this.
So we'll move on to our stuffed bell peppers. First, we're going to start with kale. As you can see, calcium, kale. We have extra here. We have black beans. We're going to mix all the ingredients together at the end.
And our black beans are our protein source
Yes.
along with the quinoa.
The quinoa is a complete protein, so this is one of the best things.
So what we mean by complete protein, we mean it has all 9 essential amino acids. And a lot of plant foods are actually incomplete proteins. So in order to complete the proteins when you're on a plant-based diet, is you kind of have to mix and match different like grains and different items to grains and legumes, and that'll create a more complete protein.
And we have here some cilantro. We also have the garlic. And for the spices, we have chili pepper. I personally like them, so I add extra, which makes it look very beautiful.
I typically double garlic and chili powder.
So we can do both. We have cumin in here. Personally, I don't like them as much, but they're really beneficial. So it's just up to your taste. And then we have salt and pepper.
I think that's the great thing too, is that all of these can be so customizable to your own preferences.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the recipe doesn't have olive oil, but as I mentioned, I love olive oil, and it's really beneficial for you. And saturated fat, it's one of the healthier olives for you, or oils for you.
Definitely.
And now,
I think
mix
it'll make it
all.
mix really well together.
Yeah, it makes it not like dry. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Because sometimes when you have the quinoa was cooked with no oil, and we have the kale also, it's a little bit dry, so we're mixing with the olive oil, makes it taste better.
That looks so good.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about it being dry, you could also include some fortified drinks like Briette spoke about earlier to increase the vitamin D to help absorb the calcium that you are consuming with your meals.
Okay. And now we're putting the mix into the bell peppers. Leave a little bit of space on top because we have
My favorite part.
star.
So good.
The star ingredient of this one. Personally, it's not for a lot of people, but I love cheese.
I do too.
I think
I
we can all
eat cheese
agree.
every
we're all
single
cheese
day.
people.
Especially melted cheese.
Melted cheese. We have here cheese, mixed cheese, shredded cheese. I'm making a big mess, but that's okay. I just wanted to mention something about the cheese. What we have right here is regular cheese, dairy. So I know a lot of people don't use, they're vegan and they want alternatives. Just be careful with that because they don't have enough calcium unless they said it's fortified. And I also wanted to mention that personally with my family, my mom loves cheese, loves anything that has to do with dairy. She doesn't eat as healthy, but this is one main part in her life that she always has to have. Some type of cheese, yogurt, lebne, if you know. So she always had that in her life. On the other hand, my dad never had dairy ever in his life. He does not like it. He does not want to eat it. Recently, they did tests for DEXA for their bone health. My mom, thank God, she doesn't have any problems whatsoever. She doesn't have osteoporosis. Her bone health is really amazing. On the other hand, my dad,
Oh, wow.
he's in the beginning process of osteoporosis, osteopenia. So it just shows you how much dairy is really important. And I'm not just talking about dairy, it's just focusing on calcium. As we mentioned before, we need to have calcium, we need to have vitamin D, we need to make sure that we have our proteins too. So all of the recipes that we had here, we made sure that we have enough protein and at the same time we have enough calcium, both together.
Yes.
The last thing for our recipe here, sorry, I took a small detour.
Oh, I love it.
Great example.
This last one, you can put it in the oven for about 20 minutes on 375, I believe, for 20 minutes or until the cheese is melted. As you can see, it's really beautiful.
The only thing better than cheese is hot cheese.
Yeah.
The food looks so good. I think we should try it.
Yes.
I think we should
What
try
do you
it.
think, Dr.
Yes,
Noel?
dig in. I'm going to try it later, but I want you all to have the first dibs on it.
All right.
Tell me the colors.
I'm going to try
colors
eating
look
this.
So amazing. Ooh, look at that.
It looks delicious. I can't
Yes.
wait.
Make sure you mix it.
I didn't know about the sesame. Wait.
Sesame seeds
Oh,
or
no,
tahini sauce.
yes, true. Okay, that one I knew, but the poppy seeds, that was new to me.
We were so surprised about that one.
Like what?
For real.
Wow.
Think.
Right?
So good.
So good.
Awesome. Oh, the colors are beautiful there. Colors are beautiful here. And the
It's a beautiful
stuffed bell
rainbow.
peppers.
Delicious.
Wow, I can't wait to try it myself. And I
Thank
know the
you.
gentlemen who have been helping us here on LOB, and they can't wait either. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us on this episode of Chat and Chew. And I want to thank my awesome students for doing a tremendous job. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care, everyone.